Today we're looking at various methods of adding texture to our Illustrator drawings. We're going to focus in this video on using 1-bit bitmap tiffs to assign colors and give our artwork some texture. That is going to require us to import or place a raster image into our vector, so you might want to consider whether or not that's appropriate for you. To do that though, we're going to need to flick over to Photoshop and open up an image file. I've got this texture image of a texture here that I photographed on my iPhone, just of a bit of a distressed concrete wall, and that's as good as anything. To turn that into a bitmap, we need to adjust its color mode. So we'll go up to image and change the color mode firstly to grayscale. That's going to strip out any color information, just have blacks and grays to white. And then the next thing we'll do is strip out all of the tonal range and replace that, squish that just to black or white values. And we can do that in various different ways using, or when we change our color mode, we could apply a halftone if we wanted to use various printing methods, but I'm just going to use the 50% threshold, and that's just going to squish everything to black and white, and click OK. I think that'll be fine. And we can see we've got a very stripped back texture that we can now use in Illustrator. We'll need to save that to a particular file format, so we'll go File, Save As, and we'll choose tiff as our file format. And we'll go Save. Don't worry about any compression. Then we'll flick back over to Illustrator, and this is the artwork here that I want to texturize. Or add some texture to. It's a sort of a building company, so I want to make it a bit gritty and grungy, and a bit of dirt incorporated. So let's start off by just placing our tiff image that we created, and we'll go place. Now you can see that my cursor is loaded, so I could click and drag if I wanted to keep that to a certain kind of size, and you can see that I've placed it there. Now the white values are transparent and the black values are visible, which is kind of cool, so we can already see some texture applied to our page, and that might be useful to us. I can, if I wanted a black on a color, that's pretty good. I could go over to my transparency and drop that down if I wanted to make it a little more subtle. But what I'm going to do is actually apply a color value to the black of that bitmap, and so all we need to do is have it selected and choose a color, and it'll apply a color directly to all the black pixels, and that's quite versatile because it could be, we can add all sorts of different color combinations using that texture. I'm going to make it a little more subtle. One thing that you are going to want to do is sort of constrain that texture so that it isn't flowing into unwanted areas of your workspace or artwork, and we can do that by wrapping our art inside a mask. So I'm going to select the tiff, and I'm going to select that tiff. There we go, and our mask on top, and I'm going to go to edit, object, and here I am going to make a clipping mask. The shortcut is Command Control 7, and we'll clip that within that bounding box that we've created, and I'll just send that to the back, and that's our first texture that we've created. So you can see pretty kind of versatile. A certain amount of dynamics you can apply to that, or editability you can apply to that. Another approach that you could use using the same kind of bitmap, and I'll maybe just duplicate this artboard. And remove the texture. And come over here and work on that. Another thing we can do is, once we've placed that texture, again we'll use that tiff. I'm going to drag it out to about that size. Maybe just change the positioning and the rotation possibly, just to get a different kind of angle on that texture. Another thing we can do is, I'll just move that to the back, is we can include a shape or an object and that texture inside a transparency mask. So I've just selected both of those elements, and I'm going to go make mask. Everything seems as though it's disappeared there, but I'll uncheck clip, and you'll see that I've created a kind of like a grayscale mask there inside of this transparency area, and that's kind of created another or a different kind of type of configuration of transparency for us. And then I could overlay that on top of another color. Make it kind of a dark color. And I'll push that right to the background, and you can see we've applied another kind of transparency to that. Just kind of move these two over together so that we can see different variations that we've created. Firstly, we have created a bitmap tiff, and we've colorized it over on this right hand version, and then I've combined that with another object. This second one here, we combined a colored square or rectangle with the tiff inside of a transparency mask. I'm getting a similar kind of result, but there's kind of different level of configurability with that.